just want to give everybody a minute or two just to get in and get settled. We still have some people that are trying to get logged into the webinar. So as everybody's getting logged in, I would like to do a little housekeeping. I will answer some questions that you guys sent in on your registration form at the end of the presentation, and then there's also a box down in the bottom right-hand corner that says type your message, and this will send a question to me, and I'll open those questions at the end as well. If I've missed anything or if you need clarification on anything, we'll be happy to, I'll try to answer those at the end. And if you did have any specific questions about a tour or a particular area of Scandinavia that I don't address in today's presentation, either I or one of our travel consultants will be reaching out to you to get those answers to you later today and maybe into tomorrow. So we did have quite a few people that registered for this webinar today, so thank you all for registering. We appreciate that. And I just want to say thank you. Good morning, everyone. I do thank you for joining us today. We'd like to take this opportunity to introduce you to Brekke Tours, as well as our tours and services being offered in 2019. We'll journey throughout Scandinavia today via pictures from all over the Scandinavian countries. So who am I? My name is Amanda Hancock, and on behalf of Brekke Tours, we look forward to introducing you to our own favorite corner of the world, Scandinavia. Now, before we get started, I would like to offer you a special discount as a way of showing our appreciation for joining us today. From now until next Friday, you can save $100 per person on our 2019 Escorted Tours when you use promo code SCAN19 on your tour application form. And I'll send a copy of this information to everyone that registered for the webinar by email, so you won't have to worry about remembering it for later. So you will get a copy of this information a little bit later today. Now, for those of you who are wondering about our connection to Scandinavia, how we got where we are today, Brekke Tours was founded in 1956 when Arne Brekke, a student from Norway, worked his way through graduate school in America by conducting summer tours in Europe. We are a family-owned company located in Grand Forks, North Dakota. We offer a wide variety of products and services, such as our own escorted tours, independent travel packages, customized tours for individuals, families, and groups, heritage travel, and cruises. Now, our goal here at Brekke Tours is simply to strengthen the cultural and ethnic ties between North America and Scandinavia by creating meaningful travel experiences. So why do people want to go to Scandinavia? Well, there are many reasons, but I summed up a few here. First is the natural beauty and phenomena that you'll find in Scandinavia. From glaciers, fjords, mountains, forests, you'll also see the midnight sun during the summer months and the northern lights in the winter. You can find all of these in Scandinavia. Scandinavia also has a truly rich history with Vikings, kings and queens, war, great wealth, hardships, and so much more. Now, the culture of the Scandinavian countries are uniquely distinct to each country, yet at the same time can be quite similar. Nature, family, education, and hard work are all valued by the folks living in Scandinavia. And most Scandinavians speak very good English, making it an easy place to get around on your own. And speaking of which, the public transportation in Scandinavia is very good. With buses, trains, and low-cost flights to choose from, it's easy to get from point A to point B. And of course, the food. You have fresh seafood, freshly baked bread, fresh fruit. You can find these all across Scandinavia. And finally, Scandinavia is a relatively safe destination. In fact, you may see babies sleeping in their strollers outside of shops and restaurants. Now, when it comes time to start planning your trip, one of the first considerations is if you should travel with a group, independently, or book a cruise. All provide different experiences, thus we've noticed some pros and cons to each that you may want to take into account when making your decision. Now, we'll start with escorted tours over on the left. Probably the number one reason for joining an escorted tour is that it is a worry-free vacation. You can just sit back and relax, and someone else will do the driving and the luggage handling. All of Brekke's Escorted Tours include transportation, first-class hotels, most of your meals, an array of activities and experiences, along with the services of a knowledgeable and professional guide to enhance and enrich your travel experience by providing cultural information about the country and the sites that you're visiting, as well as handling all those little details. So we've had people forget their phones in hotels, that you lose your luggage, that sort of thing. So your guide is there to help facilitate getting those items back, tracking down your luggage, things like that. All those little things that you can just sit back and have a wonderful experience. Now, an escorted tour is perfect for the seasoned traveler as well as those that are traveling outside the U.S. for the first time. You will also take advantage of group discounts, thus you'll get more for your travel budget. Enjoy a journey with group members that share similar interests, and you can meet new friends. Now, our tour itineraries are developed based on our own experiences and careful planning. So we've been to these places, we know these the people that you'll be meeting, things like that. So these are our own tours, so we take great pride in making sure that all of our tour participants have a wonderful time. Now, traveling independently allows you the freedom to travel at your own pace and choose the experiences you want to include. Independent travel is suitable for those who are comfortable traveling alone, may have limited time, or wish to stay in one place and explore the surrounding area. And like I said, public transportation is readily available. However, if you need flexibility or wish to enjoy the countryside, renting a car is an excellent option. And driving in Scandinavia is really not that difficult. They drive on the same side of the road as we do. The roads are a little bit more narrow than what we're used to here in the U.S., but so are the cars. So it's kind of a trade-off. And then as long as most of my clients, I tell them as long as you can navigate a roundabout, because they do utilize them quite a bit in Scandinavia, you should be perfectly okay. Now, although an independent package may appear to be less expensive, please note that costs can quickly mount when you start adding food, transfers, and activities. So it's just something that we always try to flag our clients on. Now, cruises have the advantage of being suitable for almost everyone. As a floating hotel, you wake up in a new location each day and only have to unpack once. You can also plan exciting excursions while in various ports of call. One drawback to cruising is the amount of time here in certain ports, along with the amount of people all visiting the same area at once. So those are just kind of a brief overview of some things that you might want to consider when you start planning a trip to Scandinavia, whether this year or in the future. Now, in 2019, Brekke Tours is pleased to offer 15 different tour departures during June, July, and August. We have 4 tour departures in June, 9 in July, and 2 in August. And we'll talk a little bit more about some of these tours in detail just a little bit later. But we also have some special interest tours that we are working with other groups to promote for 2019. So if you have heritage connections to the Agder region of Norway, you may wish to join the Viking Age to Contemporary Norway tour. This features visits to southern Norway, and you get to spend 17. Mai and Arendal in Norway. You'll also visit sites and museums relating to Vikings, mining, art, porcelain, fjords, and much more. Now, if you've always dreamed of running a marathon under the midnight sun, for those of you that are into running, then this next tour may be perfect for you, the Journey Under the Midnight Sun. You'll, of course, have the opportunity to participate in the Night Sun Marathon. We also have a variety of optional activities that you can choose from in Tromsø as well as Flåm. You'll get to visit a family farm, and a 3-hour rafting adventure is included in your tour. And finally, if you're interested in Norway's history during World War II, or have connections to the Gudbrandsdal region of Norway, the Gudbrandsdalslag of America invites you to join them on a journey through the heart of Norway this August. So you'll visit areas impacted by the German occupation during World War II. You'll learn about Norwegians that left behind their homeland for a new life in America. You'll visit a local farmer in the Guggenstall Valley, and so many other wonderful experiences. This is not their first tour to this area, so they are sure to have a great time. Now, no matter which tour you choose to take, there are some key points that are included in all of our tours. The first of which, you're getting a good value for your travel budget. Scandinavia can be expensive, but by taking advantage of group discounts, many clients feel that they receive much more than what they paid for. Most of our tours do involve a bit of walking each day. However, with that being said, if you do have mobility issues, I would ask you to call our office to talk to one of our agents. We can help ease your concerns and make recommendations suited for your activity level. We do allow free time in larger cities such as Oslo, Bergen, Trondheim, Stavanger, Stockholm, and Copenhagen. Our tours typically start around 8 or 9 in the morning, and we try to have you to the hotel no later than 6 or 7, so we don't go all day long. And we have several stops throughout the day for activities, breaks, restroom breaks, meals, that sort of thing. We also offer luggage handling at most hotels, and our tour director will meet you at the arriving airport and stay with you until you depart the tour. You'll also notice that most of your meals are included in our itineraries. We also try to include special meals such as dinner at a local farm or a unique location. And for your comfort, all of our tours are on first-class touring coaches. They have large windows, reclining seats, footrests, and some even have bathrooms on board. You can sit back and relax while wonderful bus drivers chauffeur you around in style. And finally, all of our tours can be customized with either pre- or post-tour extensions within Scandinavia or beyond. So if you would like to add an Iceland stopover, extend your time to include a cruise to Helsinki, that's something that we can accommodate and book for you. Now, with the exception of our Landed Midnight Fun tour, all of our tours include a visit to Bergen and Oslo, as well as a journey through the Fjord country. In addition, you'll also get to see a state church, one of the iconic symbols of Norway. Another activity that is included in all of our tours, except for the Land of the Midnight Sun, is a ride on the famous Flam Railway. It's ranked as one of the top 20 train rides in Europe, thus we feel that it's something that all visitors to Norway should experience. So a little information about who you will be traveling with. You'll meet a variety of people on our tour, but in general, these folks are from the U.S. and Canada. They have ethnic ties to Scandinavia. They're retired, and they enjoy learning new things and seeking out new experiences. Some other interests commonly found among our tour participants include history, embroidery, folk music, dancing and singing, hiking, and other outdoor activities. Now, your tour guides, while on our escorted tours, you'll need your tour guide will meet you at the arriving airport. So if you're flying into Bergen, your tour guide will meet you in Bergen. If you're flying in Oslo, you'll meet them in Oslo. They will stay with you throughout the tour. They will, all of them speak wonderful English. Most of our tour guides are, they've either lived in the U.S. or they live in the U.S. full time. We do have local guides also that will join the group for just a portion of the tour. For instance, in Oslo, you'll have a city guide that will join you to provide specific information about Oslo and the things that you'll be seeing. So they'll only be with you just during that tour that you have, so just a few hours. Now, to give you an idea of what you'll experience while on tour, here's just a short summary of a typical day. So you'll start with a breakfast buffet at the hotel, and then the group typically departs between 8:30 and 9, depending on what is scheduled for that day. We include several stops throughout the day for food, bathroom breaks, and activities. And on board the bus, our tour director will keep you entertained with information, songs, language lessons, and more. The group will arrive at the hotel in the evening, and usually there is time for a walk, relaxation, or even a swim before dinner. Now, before the group goes their separate ways in the evening, the tour director will advise of the departure time for the next day, so that you'll know when to be up and when you need to be checked out. Now that you know a little bit more about Brekke Tours and your fellow passengers, let's pack our virtual bags and we'll head to Scandinavia. And first we'll start with the land of the midnight sun. So this is one of our older tours making a comeback for 2019. And it starts in Trondheim, and then you'll travel north of the Arctic Circle to the Lofoten Islands and beyond. So this is a great tour for somebody that has been to the lower regions of Norway, which include Oslo, Bergen, the Fjord country, and wanted to see something a little bit different. Now, in the old days, large parts of northern Norway were inaccessible, but today there is an extensive network of both roads and small airports with regular flights between many of the small towns and villages. Hunderfossen also calls at ports along the coast at least once per day, both northbound and southbound. Now, on this 13-day tour, you'll travel north of the Arctic Circle while learning about northern Norway's rich history, including the German occupation of Norway during World War II. You'll begin your Norway adventure in Trondheim, where we'll spend 2 nights. Day 3 begins with a sightseeing tour, which includes a visit to the Nidaros Cathedral, which is one of the most splendid cathedrals in Scandinavia. And your afternoon is free to explore the city on your own. The next day, we'll drive to Stiklestad, which is the site of the famous Battle of 1030. This battle is one of the most famous battles in the history of Norway, and was a battle in which King Olaf II of Norway was killed. Today, the Stiklestad Church sits on the site of the Battle of Stiklestad. Now, during the battle, St. Olaf, he's the patron saint of Norway, and is also King Olaf II. He received 3 severe wounds in the knee, in the neck, and the final blow through the heart, and died leaning against a large stone. The church building is assumed to have been erected in the exact spot where St. Olaf was killed during the battle, and that stone is supposedly still inside the altar of the church. So the church on the inside, while the outside may not look like much, the inside is beautifully painted, and it's painted in the same fashion that the Mona Lisa is painted, so the eyes will follow you around as you move around in the church, so it's quite interesting. So then we'll continue to Namsos, where we'll have an overnight. The next day, we'll drive along the coastal scenery of Helgeland, as we drive north to the Norwegian Aqua Center. And here we'll learn more about aquaculture in Norway. The next day, we'll continue along the northern coast, and we'll enter the land of the midnight sun once we've traveled past the Arctic Circle, which is the boundary of the midnight sun of the Arctic summer and the sunless winters of the north. And we'll head to Saltstraumen. Before we reach Saltstraumen, we'll visit the Arctic Circle Center, which provides insight into the flora and fauna of the north. We'll also visit the Blood Road Museum, which portrays the plight of prisoners of war under the German regime from 1942 to 1945. Finally, we'll end up in Saltstraumen, site of the world's strongest maelstrom, where we'll spend the night. Day 7 will begin with a drive to a picturesque and historical trading post from the 1800s along the Northland coast. Following lunch, we'll continue to Bodo. With its backdrop of distant rugged peaks and vast skies, Bodo is the gateway to Norway's true north. Now, day 8 and 9, you'll definitely want to have your camera ready. From Bodo, we're going to take a short flight to Leknes and then drive to the picturesque Lofoten Islands. We'll have 2 days visiting various sites around the islands, including the fishing village of Holt, Solvar, and Rhine, once selected as the most beautiful village in Norway. And once you see it for yourself, you'll understand why. On day 10, we'll depart the Lofoten Islands and continue north to Narvik for a visit to the World War II Museum and an excursion by cable car. On day 11, we'll embark on the last portion of our journey north as we head to Tromsø. Before we arrive, we'll stop for a visit at the North Norway Boat Museum and the Polar Park, which is the northernmost wildlife park in the world. Now, we'll end in Tromsø, which is known as the Paris of the North, and is famous for being a northern lights hotspot during the winter months. We won't have northern lights during the summer, but you will get to take advantage of the midnight sun. On your last full day in Norway, we'll begin with a sightseeing tour of Tromsø. Now, the skyline is highlighted by the Arctic Cathedral, which was built in 1965 and inspired by Arctic nature. We'll visit the cathedral for a chance to see the return of Christ's glass mosaic window, which dominates the interior. We'll continue to the Polar Museum, which tells the exciting story of risky Arctic trapping and courageous polar expeditions. And tonight you'll enjoy a farewell dinner with your group before departing the next day for home. So some highlights of the Land of the Midnight Sun. It really is a unique opportunity to explore a place few people outside of Norway get to experience. In addition to the fantastic setting of the Lofoten Islands, you'll see the Nidaros Cathedral in Trondheim, Stiklestad, and the Arctic Cathedral in Tromsø. You'll also learn more about the German occupation of Norway during World War II throughout this tour. So this tour for 2019, the price with airfare from Minneapolis-St. Paul is $59.95 per person. If you are flying from another area of the country, we are more than happy to request that airfare for you. All you have to do is just send us an email or give us a call, and we're happy to get a quote from your home city. Now, our next tour is a little bit different. This is one of our most popular tours, and it's a wonderful tour for the first-time visitor to Norway, especially if you want to include a visit to Stavanger. Now, in 2019, we're offering 3 different tour departures for this tour. So we'll begin in Oslo, and we'll travel up to Lillehammer before heading over to Geiranger, and then traveling down to the fjord country to Flamvoll, to Bergen, and then finally to Stavanger. So we'll depart the U.S. on day 1 and arrive in Oslo the next day. After collecting your luggage, you'll meet your guide and transfer to the Grand Hotel. And from here, the rest of your day is free to relax and adjust to the time change. That night, you'll meet the others in your group at a welcome dinner at the Grand Hotel. And then after a good night's sleep, we'll start fresh on day 3 with a sightseeing tour of Oslo with a local guide. We'll feature the Vigeland Sculpture Park, the Viking Ship Museum, and the Norwegian Folk Museum. After the tour, the rest of your day is free to explore Norway's capital city independently. So some sites that you might want to visit include the Oslo Parliament and Akershus Castle. On day 4, we'll depart Oslo and head to the Olympic city of Lillehammer. On the way, we'll stop at Hadeland Glassworks for a chance to do a bit of shopping and enjoy a snack. We'll also stop for a farm tour before we are welcomed into the family home for dinner. And if we're lucky, we'll also have an impromptu performance of music and singing. We'll continue to Lillehammer for a visit to the 1994 Winter Olympic site. Here you can ride the ski lift, meet some potential Olympians, and marvel at their feats of athleticism. Day 5 takes us through the Gudbrandsdal and Odda valleys to Lom. We'll stop in Lom for a chance to visit the State Church and the Folksheim Stone Center. The Stone Center not only includes a stone museum, but also a jewelry gallery, which many people enjoy. And if shopping isn't really your thing, there's a great bakery in town where you can grab a wonderful snack. Back on board the bus, we'll drive over the Grotli Mountains to Norway's fjord country. If the weather is clear, we'll drive up the winding road to Dalsnø Observation Point for a view of the Geiranger Fjord below. Afterward, we'll proceed to Loen, where we'll have dinner and overnight at the Alexandra Hotel. On day 6, we'll begin with a troll cart excursion to the Brekke Glacier, one of the most accessible and best-known arms of the Jotunheim Glacier. So we'll get to ride in a little troll cart, and you can actually get down and feel the waters, and it's quite cold. En route to Flum, we'll stop at Otto-Deacon's weaving workshop for a chance to do a bit of souvenir shopping and pick up a snack. Then we'll ferry across the Sogne Fjord and continue over the Beek Mountains to Flum. Here we'll have dinner and overnight at the Fressheim Hotel. On day 7, we'll depart Flum by boat for a cruise on the Aurland and Nærøy Fjord. The Nærøy Fjord is the narrowest and best known of the many arms of the Sogne Fjord. The Sogne Fjord is the longest and deepest fjord in Norway. So with steep mountainsides, hanging valleys, towering peaks, snowfields, waterfalls, and small hamlets, the Nærøy Fjord is perhaps the most outstanding natural attraction in Norway. After we arrive in Gudvangen, we'll meet our bus once again and return to Flum. From here, we'll board the Flum Railway, to Myrdal. We'll ascend 2,800 feet within 13 miles, past thundering waterfalls, and through 20 tunnels to the mountaintop station of Myrdal. And in Myrdal, we'll switch to the Oslo-Bergen Railway, and we'll travel to Voss. And from Voss, we'll again meet our bus and driver, and we'll continue to the historic city of Bergen. Now we'll have a relaxing evening in Bergen, and then we'll enjoy a tour the next day featuring Trollhagen, which was the home of Norway's famous composer Edvard Grieg. We'll learn more about his family and music as he toured his home of 22 years. Next, we'll have a walk through the historic Hanseatic Wharf and hear stories of the people that used to live and work in the wooden buildings lining the streets. Now, your afternoon is free to shop. You can sample the wares at the fish market or ride the funicular to the top of Mount Florian for a view of Bergen, which is, go back a slide. This is where this picture was taken, from the top of Mount Florian, so it's quite an impressive view. The next day we'll continue our journey south and we'll travel the coastal route to Stavanger. And in Valsnes, we'll stop for a tour of the Nordviken History Center. And Valsnes was home of the first kings of Norway, and it was here back in 2011 that the Viking ship Draken Harfarger was under construction. I probably butchered that name, and I do apologize for anybody listening. This Viking ship was sailed to America, and you may have heard about it on the news. It did run into some problems when the crew reached the Great Lakes. But it was quite a feat to actually see it for myself, and they were using the traditional methods of shipbuilding, doing everything by hand. So it was quite impressive to see it being worked on. We'll continue on to Stavanger via the underwater tunnels. And on our final day in Norway, we'll enjoy a sightseeing tour of this charming 18th century city. Then it's time to say goodbye to Norway as we pack up and head to the airport for the flight home. So some experiences you can expect on this tour include a tour of the Folk Museum in Oslo, a farm tour and dinner. We'll visit Hadeland Glassworks. You can ride the ski lift at the 1994 Winter Olympic site in Lillehammer. We'll enjoy a Norway in a nutshell experience. You'll have a guided walk through Bergen's Hanseatic Wharf, visit the Nordviken History Center in Valsnes to learn about the first Viking kings, and finally you'll explore Stavanger both with your guide and on your own. So the price for this tour for 2019 is $45.95 per person, which also includes airfare from Minneapolis to St. Paul. Now, our next tour is one that covers all three Scandinavian countries, Norway, well, not all three, but it covers three Scandinavian countries, Norway, Denmark, and Sweden. And so it's a great adventure throughout the Nordic countries. And then if you do want to continue on to Finland, that is very easy to do independently, as there's a cruise that goes from Stockholm to Helsinki that you can take right from Stockholm. So. Now, this is a 14-day tour that starts in Bergen. Then it travels to Flum and Oslo before cruising to Copenhagen. Now, from Denmark, we'll cross into Sweden's Kingdom of Crystal, Gothenburg, and finally to Stockholm. So again, we'll meet our guide in Bergen at the airport, and we'll transfer to the Clarion Admiral Hotel, where the rest of your day is free. I always suggest to my clients to, once they arrive in overseas, to get outdoors in order to reset your body's internal clock to the new time zone. Now here, there's plenty of things you can visit on your own. The fish market, you can explore Hawkins Hall, or simply relax at one of the restaurants near the wharf. And those are all great ways to spend the afternoon. On day 3, you'll start with the sightseeing tour of Bergen, which again features a visit to Trollhagen. You'll also get to walk through the Hanseatic Wharf, which was once the main hub of trade for Norway, between Norway and the continent, and it goes back nearly 1,000 years. You will again have some free time this afternoon to explore Bergen independently or relax at the hotel. Now on day 4, we'll depart Bergen and drive to Wolf, where we'll board the train for a trip on the Flum Railway to Flum. After arriving in Flum, we'll cruise to Ireland and Narre Fjord to Gudvangen before driving by motor coast to Wolf. The next day, we'll proceed to Oslo with stops along the way, including Borgund State Church. Now, day 6 begins with a sightseeing tour of Oslo featuring the Vigeland Sculpture Park and the Viking Ship Museum. The rest of your day is free. Now, during your free time, you may want to explore again Akershus Castle. Now, this castle dates back to 1299. It was a medieval castle and royal residence developed into a fortress in 1592, after which it was rebuilt into a Renaissance castle in 1637 to 1648. So it's changed quite a bit over the years. It includes several magnificent halls. It has a castle church, royal mausoleum. It includes models of the castle inside, and there's also government reception rooms and banquet halls. You may also want to visit the nearby Resistance Museum, which documents Norway's domestic World War II history. And the exhibitions have recreated 5 years of occupation through pictures, documents, posters, objects, models, and original copies of newspapers and recordings. Other sites worth visit include Oslo Parliament, the Opera House, and National Museum. So on day 7, you'll have pretty much a free day in Oslo before we transfer to the pier in the afternoon for an overnight cruise to Copenhagen. You'll be able to relax and enjoy dinner on board before letting the ship rock you to sleep in your Commodore-class cabin. We'll wake up the next morning in Copenhagen. After disembarkation, we'll tour the city's major sites and learn about Copenhagen's colorful history dating back more than 6,000 years. The first written recording regarding Copenhagen dates back to 1043. So it has quite a lot of history here. Now the rest of your day is free to enjoy the world's longest shopping street, Frederiks Church, Nyhavn, or the Palace. On day 9, we're going to depart Copenhagen and drive to Hillerød for a tour of the Frederiksborg Castle. Now this was built as a royal residence for King Christian IV, and the castle is now a museum of national history. A permanent exhibition shows the history of the castle and the museum, including the castle previously closed to the public. Here you can see original sculptures and decorations from before the fire in 1859. The palace grounds also boast a beautiful Baroque-style garden that was recreated in 1996 according to the original drawings from 1725. So if you enjoy being outside and walking around, this will be a great place to check out the garden. So just a quick glimpse inside the castle. You can see it's quite ornate and beautifully decorated. So we're going to continue to coast the Boda in the Kingdom of Crystal. Now the Kingdom of Crystal is a region of Sweden that contains 15 glassworks dating back to the 18th century. The glassworks have become part of the culture of Sweden, and examples can be found in many Swedish homes, recognized by a small sticker at the bottom with a name. Tonight you'll enjoy a peaceful dinner with traditional food and music. Then we'll proceed to Vaxo, where you will spend the night. Next day, we'll travel to Gothenburg, where we will stay for 2 nights. Before we depart Basho, though, we're going to visit the Swedish Immigrant Institute. The original purpose of the Institute was to increase the understanding of and document the great Swedish migration that took place between 1846 and 1930. In recent decades, the Institute has expanded its mission to document the immigrant experience of those who had left their homelands of Sweden. Afterward, that's when we'll continue to Gothenburg. We'll learn about the history of this port city on a morning sightseeing cruise through the Dutch-inspired canals on day 11. And after the tour, your day is free to visit the Volvo Museum, the Fish Church, or the Gothenburg Museum of Art. Day 12 takes us through the Swedish countryside as we travel from Gothenburg to Stockholm. Along the way, we'll enjoy music, language lessons, and commentary from your guide. We will arrive in Stockholm, where the tour will end on day 14. But before we say goodbye, we'll visit the Vasa Ship Museum and City Hall and other places of interest on a half-day sightseeing tour. Now, this is a great tour if you want to experience all 3 countries at one time. You'll also tour Frederiksborg Castle, you'll enjoy a Hitzel dinner at Costa Boda, and the Swedish Glass District. You'll have free time in Gothenburg to pick and choose what you want to see in this lively town. And you'll have time in Stockholm after a sightseeing tour, which includes the City Hall and a visit to the Vasa Ship Museum. Now, the price for this tour with air from Minneapolis for 2019 is $57.95. This price also applies if you prefer to fly from Chicago as well. So we have departures from Minneapolis and Chicago for this tour. If you would just rather visit just maybe Norway and Sweden, we do have our Taste of Norway and Sweden tour, which also departs from Minneapolis or Chicago. This tour departs on June 29th and travels from Bergen to Stockholm in only 11 days. So it's a little bit shorter, but you don't get a visit to Copenhagen and Denmark. So our last tour is designed for the young and the young at heart. It's Norway's Family Adventure. This is a multi-generational tour that we've noticed that a lot of people like to travel with grandparents and their grandchildren. So it was created as a way to introduce the next generation to Norway and their Norwegian heritage. And this year, this tour departs in July. So we'll start in Oslo, where you will travel north to Lillehammer and then Øyer before heading west through the fjord country to Bergen. And with a focus on kid-friendly activities, this tour is sure to be one that the whole family can enjoy. So after you arrive at the Oslo airport and collect your luggage, you'll meet your guide and bus. You'll transfer to the Scandinavia Victoria Hotel, which is in the city center. And the rest of your day is free in Oslo to walk along the harbor, visit the opera house, or stroll amongst the shops located in the city center. On day 3, we'll begin with a tour of the Norwegian Folk Museum, the Vigeland Sculpture Park, and we'll visit Holmenkollen ski jump. Now, the rest of the day is free to explore with your own family. The next morning, we'll depart Oslo and drive to Lillehammer for a visit to the 1994 Winter Olympic site. Then it's on to Øyer for overnight at the Hunderfossen Hotel and Resort. On day 5, you can spend with your family at Hunderfossen Family Park, known as the Fairy Tale Park, and is one of Norway's most popular tourist attractions. There are over 60 rides and places of interest for the whole family. On day 6, we'll depart Øyer and drive through the Valdres Valley to Fagernes for a tour of the Valdres Folk Museum. And they're known for their collection of bunad, so it's a great way to introduce children to some of their Norwegian heritage and what some of the national costumes look like. We'll continue to go for overnight at the family-friendly Storfjell Hotel. This hotel is filled with family-friendly activities. It's also ideally situated for those that enjoy outdoor activities such as hiking and walking. They also have a putt-putt course, swimming pool, and arcade on site. So if it's a little yucky outside, maybe that would be a better option. On Day 7, we'll depart Gould and travel across the Hardangervidda, the largest high mountain plateau in northern Europe. We'll stop at Hunderfossen, one of the most impressive waterfalls in Norway. We'll continue to Voss for dinner and overnight at the lovely Fleischers Hotel. Now, the hotel has an interesting past. It was built in 1889 in the popular Swiss style. The hotel quickly became known among wealthy tourists due to its architectural style. Now, during World War II, the Fleischers Hotel was occupied by the Germans, and the hotel was among the few buildings in Voss that was not destroyed by bombs. Day 8 adventure begins with a train ride on the Flam Railway from Voss. And in the afternoon, we'll board a ferry for a cruise to Underdal. Underdal is home to not only Norway's smallest state church, but also about 80 people and nearly 500 goats. Underdal is known for its brown cheese, and we'll learn more about the tradition of cheese making and farming in the mountains from our local guide. Afterward, we'll sample a bit and enjoy dinner before we return to Voss. And Day 9 begins with an exciting family rafting adventure. Now, this 3-hour journey will take us along the Vosso River to the Vanger Lake, where we'll enjoy some well-deserved refreshments. After the tour, we'll continue to Bergen for a well-deserved night's rest at the Clarion Admiral Hotel. And Day 10 begins with a tour of the historic Hanseatic Wharf, followed by a ride on the funicular for a grand view of Bergen from up high. The highlights of Norway's family adventure include a visit to the Gold State Church at the Norwegian Folk Museum in Oslo, a full day at Hunderfossen Family Park, sampling local goat cheese in Underdal, a family rafting adventure, and much more. So for 2019, this tour price is priced at $46.95 for adults with airfare from Minneapolis, and then children prices are a little bit less. We can also book airfare from other places as well. So if you're interested in this tour, please give us a call. We'll be happy to help you. So now we're going to shift from our tours to our tour extensions. So if you are joining one of our escorted tours, you are more than welcome to customize your escorted tour with a little bit more time in Scandinavia. We can arrange extensions to any of these countries and beyond. So if there's some place that you would like to add to your tour, we are more than happy to do that. All you have to do is give us a call or send us an email, and we'll be glad to take care of that for you. Now, in addition to escorted tours, Brekke Tours also offers a variety of independent travel options, including fjord tours, self-drive tours, adventure tours, and winter packages. Our independent travel options can be found online, or if you prefer to have a customized itinerary plan just for you, please just give us a call or send us an email. So some things to consider when you're planning independently is how to get from point A to point B. So traveling on your own means that you will have to deal with the unexpected. If this is something you wish to avoid, you may want to choose an alternative travel option. Sticking with your budget is another factor when deciding when planning your independent vacations. Costs can quickly balloon out of control if you aren't careful. Now, planning a large itinerary can be difficult, especially if you're unfamiliar with the locations and different options. It's here that we can really help. We can help you plan the transportation. We can help you try to keep the budget within your expectations. And of course, we will help you plan a trip that will interest you and your family. Now, some of our popular independent packages include the Norway in a Nutshell. This is an ever popular package. It can be done as a 3 or 6 day package. You can also customize to include additional nights along the way. Nordic Delight includes visits to the Scandinavian capitals of Oslo, Copenhagen, and Stockholm, extensions missions to Helsinki, St. Petersburg, Russia, or Norway's Fjord country can easily be added. Now, Iceland has become a frequently requested destination over the past few years, and one of the best ways to see this unique country is to rent a car and drive the Ring Road, which circles the island. And this can be done in as little as 9 days. So if you would like to see the Northern Lights, we recommend traveling to Tromsø. It's situated in the heart of the Northern Light Zone, and it's great for fun and adventure, such as dog sledding and snowmobiling, things like that. There's a lot of fun activities that you can do in the winter from Tromsø. And for those looking for a different type of a visitor, Iceland's Land of the Northern Lights is a short getaway with visits to South Iceland, which is an ideal location to search for the Northern Lights. We have so many more packages on our website, or if you would like to request a customized independent tour, please visit us online or send us an email. So just to kind of talk about some of our customized tours, we can create a tour just for with you in mind. We can do this for individuals, couples, and families, as well as groups and organizations. We can include all of the arrangements needed, including drivers, guides, and more. Your tailor-made tour is based on your interests, areas of heritage, budget, and more. All it takes to get started is to call our office or email us, and one of our staff will be happy to help you. Now, if cruising is your preferred mode of travel, Brekke Tours can also assist with your travel plans. Whether you choose to explore the coast of Norway on the world's most beautiful voyage, or explore the kingdom of the polar bear, we are happy to help you by providing advice, travel tips, and more. Much like Escorted Tours, choosing a cruise can be a daunting task. To narrow down the field, you may want to review the included destinations, how much time you spend at these locations, the ship size, as well as activities and experiences that are either included or optional. Now, Hunderfossen's Norwegian coastal voyage is a very easy way to explore the northern reaches of Norway. They also offer a variety of cruise itineraries, including Spitsbergen, Iceland and Greenland, Europe, Antarctica, and more. Hunderfossen also offers early booking discounts with specials throughout the year. So if you're considering a cruise for 2019, now is the time to book. They even have cruises out for 2020 already, so if you want to get a jump start on that, we are happy to help you. Now, another popular cruise featuring Scandinavia is a Baltic cruise, with visits to Germany, Estonia, Russia, Finland, Sweden, and Norway. It's a great way to see the Baltic capitals in only 12 days. For more information on any of these cruises, or if you'd like to explore further options, please feel free to give us a call, and we will be glad to do that research for you. So now I'm going to answer some of the questions that were sent in on the registration form. So we will get started with that, and then I'll open it up for any questions that you may have at the end. And again, there is a box down at the bottom. It says lightly in the gray print, type your message, and that message will come right to me, and I will try and answer those for you. If I can't answer it online, I'll find the answer and get it to you later. So, probably the number one question that we got, and we got it again, what clothing should I pack? We always recommend to bring clothing that you can wear. Casual clothing is the norm for our Escorted Tours, and you'll want to bring good walking shoes. You will also want to bring a jacket and perhaps a raincoat. Other things you may want to pack include an umbrella or a poncho, snacks, medication including over-the-counter medication like aspirin and Tylenol, because that is a little difficult to find in Scandinavia, sunscreen, a small day pack where you can store your sweaters, a water bottle, and your snacks. So those are all things that we recommend bringing, but definitely casual clothing. Norwegians do like to dress up a little bit for dinner, but that's totally at your discretion. So, and dressing up would be just, nice slacks and a nice shirt. Additional costs. So we do include all of your breakfast and most dinners during your Escorted Tours. Now, these will vary by trip, and I would suggest reviewing the particular itinerary to see which additional meals are included. Typically, lunches are left up to you. Okay, I'm sorry about that, everybody. It seems my computer lost connection for a second. So I'm back online now. Hopefully you guys can hear me again. I'm not sure where I left off, but I will start again with the visa question. Traveling to Scandinavia only requires a passport. If you do plan to extend your trip with a tour of Russia, you will need a visa, which we can help you obtain. You will not need to carry your passport during much of the trip, thus you can store it safely in your purse, backpack, or carry-on luggage while on tour. If you are traveling on our tours to visit different countries, such as Taste of Norway and Sweden, or Captivating Scandinavia, you may need your passport as you travel between the countries, but your tour guide should let you know ahead of time so that you'll know what to expect. When out on your own exploring, you can choose to leave your passport behind if there's a safe in your hotel room, or you can ask the front desk at the hotel to store your passport. That way you don't have to leave it in your room. Just be sure to retrieve your passport before you leave the hotel. So, very important. Number of people on the tour. Now, the number of people traveling together on one escorted tour can vary, but typically you can expect 30 or more on our popular tours, and about 20 to 25 on some of our more out-of-the-way tours, such as Longboth, Scenic and Historic, and Majestic Southern Pleasures. Now, we do only operate one bus, so at the most you would travel with around 40 people on board. Now, free time. All of our tours do include a bit of free time so that you have the opportunity to pursue your own interests while in Scandinavia. Many people like to take this time to explore art museums, go shopping, or visit with friends and relatives in the area. If additional time is needed for a particular visit, we can make those arrangements with you prior to departing the U.S. And finally, adding days to a tour. If you'd like to spend a little more time in Scandinavia, or would like to take a day out of the itinerary to visit family heritage sites, our staff is more than happy to help you with these plans. From adding an extra hotel night to booking an extended stay in Norway, or figuring out how to get you from point A to point B and back again is what we're all about. All right. So just a quick reminder of the special offer before I put our contact information up, and then I'll answer all the questions that you guys have been sending in, so thank you for those. So just a quick reminder, our promotion code SCAN19, $100 off all of our escorted tours for 2019, and register by next Friday to take advantage. So I'll put this up and let's answer some questions. Okay. Extra fee to pay tour with a credit card. There is no extra fee to pay for our escorted tours with a credit card. There could be extra fees that would be charged by your credit card company if you are paying for a Norwegian coastal voyage, because Hunderfossen is based in Norway, so they may charge you a foreign transaction fee, but that would be something to work with your credit card company on. But we are based here in the U.S. Like I said, we're based here in North Dakota, So when you pay us with a credit card, there's no additional fee for that. Yes, so somebody had asked about the visa-free cruises to St. Petersburg, and we do have several different cruises that are available that you can visit St. Petersburg, Russia for up to 72 hours without a visa. So if St. Petersburg is on your bucket list, there are cruises from Helsinki as well as Stockholm that you can take, and you will not have to have a visa to visit St. Petersburg. So if that's something that you might be interested in, please call us at this number on your screen or send us an email, and we would be happy to provide you with more information on that. And if you're traveling alone, is there a way to possibly join someone else who is also traveling alone? Yes, actually there is. So if you are a single person and you would like to be to share a room with another single person of the same gender, we would, there is a spot on our tour application form that indicates that yes, you would be open to having a roommate. And so what happens is if there is another person on the tour that is single and is also open to having a roommate and is the same gender as you, because we're not going to put a man and a woman, I'm sorry, in the same room together, we would contact both of you, let you know about the option, and give you the opportunity to say yes or no before we confirm that. So, yes, that's certainly something that we can help with. Do we have any other questions? I'm sorry about the little glitch that happened earlier. I know a couple of you guys sent that in, so thank you, and hopefully everything is working now. But if you do have any other questions, that little box down in the bottom is there for you to send those in. Does Norway have a VAT? Yes, it does. VAT is value-added tax. And so you will pay for that on just about everything that you purchase in Norway and Scandinavia. But what you can do is, if it's over a certain amount, you will be able to get that back at the end, especially on souvenirs. There is a limit on how much you have to spend. I'm not sure what that is off the top of my head, but I can send you that information a little bit later and let you know what that is. But it's a little form that you fill out when you go to the airport, and they will send that, they'll put that money back on your card, or they'll send you a check for that. When is the latest time to get travel insurance? So you can purchase it as soon as you make your deposit, or you can wait until your final payment to purchase that travel insurance. So it's really up to you. You can purchase it, a month after you make your deposit. You can purchase it 2 months after you make your deposit. But as long as you purchase it before you make your final payment, your tour will be covered. So we recommend to most people to book travel insurance within about 15 days of making your deposit, so that any pre-existing conditions that you may have or your traveling companion may have would be covered. So like for me, for instance, I have a autoimmune deficiency disorder. So I would go ahead and purchase my insurance as soon as I could, just so in case I had some sort of flare-up, I would be able to have, if I had a flare-up that prevented me from traveling, I would be able to have that covered. So, do we have any other questions? You guys have some great questions today. We will be sending a copy of this presentation out to everyone that registers, along with the information on the special discount. So if there's no more questions, I will let everyone go for today. And like I said, if you did have questions that I didn't answer today that we didn't answer on the webinar, you had a specific question about family heritage or something like that that you sent in on the form, we will be reaching out to you directly to get you those answers. So I'm sorry my voice is a little broken up here at the end, but thank you everybody for joining us today. I will be in contact with you later today with the recording link for this presentation. And please give us a call or send us an email if you do have any other questions. Oh, we just had another one pop in. An electrical converter. It depends on the item that you have, if you need an electrical converter or not. So the converter, if your item is not dual voltage, so I know a lot of items here in the U.S., especially like curling irons, flat irons, that sort of thing, are only good for 110. Norway and Scandinavia, they use 220, so you would need a converter for that. There are hair dryers in the room and at most hotels. So that's, I never have to bring a hair dryer when I go to Scandinavia. But I have a hair straightener that I bring. And so that does require a converter because it's not dual voltage. So to find that, either it's on the item itself. So sometimes there's information molded into the plastic or the metal that's on your device. If it doesn't indicate dual voltage, I would just go the safe route and just buy a converter anyway. You can get one for about $25, $30 on Amazon. If your item is dual voltage, all that you will need is an adapter, and that is what just plugs, it just sits on your plug and converts to the plug that's in Scandinavia. It's a 2 round prong plug is what you'll need, and those run about $5, so they're not very expensive. So, but if you do have any other questions like that, or if you're not sure, let us know. I know we get a lot of questions about CPAP machines a lot, you know, how to bring those and that sort of thing. And all of our Escorted tours, we give our clients an opportunity to ask these questions before they go overseas. And we have a webinar that we'll do usually a couple times a year in May and early part of June that will answer some of these questions, so that people will know what they need to bring and what to expect when they get there. So we will have more webinars that will help answer some of these questions. But in the meantime, we're happy to answer those on a one-on-one basis. So if we don't have any other questions, let me just check. Nobody seems to be typing anything. So I will let you guys go this afternoon. This morning, I'm sorry. I will leave you looking over the Ireland Fjord. This is Slum, and you're looking at the Brekke Hotel there that's in the back, the big white building. So if you would like to join us this summer, this could be one of the hotels that you will be staying at. So thank you all for joining us this morning. We hope to see you in Scandinavia this summer. Please don't hesitate to contact us if there's anything that we can help you with. Thank you so much, everybody. Bye-bye.